What is going on, guys? Nice guy driver. Here's what I discovered during this government shutdown. I don't want to get too political, but this is the longest government shutdown in history. I want you to think about that for a minute. Now I want you to go back and think about the pandemic and what jobs were considered essential. Believe it or not, rideshare and food delivery are considered essential jobs. Yes. In this lazy future that we live in right now, because automation hasn't fully kicked in yet, food delivery, particularly food delivery, more so than I would say rideshare, are considered essential. The only reason why I don't think they pull in all transportation as essential because their price, like limousines and taxis could get a little high on the price. But think about that. There was military people that didn't get paid, and to supplement that income, you look this up, Google it if you don't believe me. There was military people that had to go DoorDash to supplement the income they weren't getting during this government shutdown. Now, I shouldn't be saying this because I'm creating more competition. The floodgates are already open because every time somebody gets fired, quits their job, is off for their summer, like, not doctors, but teachers, and people in between jobs, they go to rideshare food delivery. They are essential because no matter what time of year it is, people feel that they need rideshare and food delivery. Now, rideshare I kind of understand because public transportation, to me, is, I think that's a luxury to get a rideshare car instead of taking the bus. But a lot of people rely more on rideshare because it gets you there fast, quick. I've seen people, I had a guy who had his arm wrapped up and bloody one day. This was a while ago, a couple of years back. And I asked him, I almost didn't want to take him because I didn't want him to go. I was like, make sure that blood don't get on my seats. But I asked him, why didn't you call an ambulance, or emergency response? I can't say that word, ambulance or whatever. And he said because a rideshare driver will get there quicker. Think about that. He actually said a rideshare driver will get there quicker than calling emergency response to come help take him to the hospital. And I was like, wow. And he's probably right. Because there's so many, particularly Uber drivers, that there's probably one right around the corner from your house at all times. They might not necessarily take your ride. That's what people don't understand, that a lot of times they'll just cancel because it's not a good paying offer. But there's always, if you look on a map, there's always a rideshare driver. Unless you're in a really, really rural area, there's always a Uber driver nearby. Not so much Lyft, but there's always an Uber driver somewhere nearby. At least here in Connecticut. So we are in a position where I'm only part-time now, but I'm thinking about possibly driving more hours during this whole government shutdown. My income's pretty secure because I'm renting rooms and I'm doing some stuff online. So, but I'm thinking, why not making more money while the money's good, at least going into the winter? Summertime I like to chill. It's hot. You want to chill in the house more often, in the AC or whatever. But in the wintertime, most people like to stay indoors in the winter. I'm the opposite. I like to work in the winter. There's not as much stuff to do. So I like to work. So I might increase my hours a little bit. I'm not going to go crazy. I might do 6 hours 5 days a week or 6 days a week, as opposed to doing 6 hours Monday through Wednesday and only 5 Thursday to Friday. And then I usually take Saturday and Sunday off. I might just do 6 hours a day Monday through Saturday and still take Sunday off. I'm thinking about doing that, because I always want to have family time. But there's going to be more competition out here due to this government shutdown, and it's still going. At the time of this video, the government shutdown is still going. Hopefully it'll be done when I actually put this video out, but I doubt it. That's how bad the situation is. I think it'll be going on, even if I put this video out 3 to 4 days or even a week from now. I feel like this government shutdown is still going to be going on. Both sides don't want to give in. And I see a lot of people putting blame on sides. Oh, it's the Republicans' fault. This is the Republican shutdown. Oh, this is the Democrat shutdown. It's a government shutdown, meaning both sides cannot agree. And you know why they're able to play with us like that? Because they're still getting paid. Why are these people in Congress still getting paid? I believe, this is just my theory, I believe every time there's a government shutdown, politicians should legally not be paid during the shutdown. Put your hand up if you agree. I think that will resolve things a lot faster, and you will see different sides giving in and coming together and resolving this. Now, I don't 100% blame the Republicans, but this Mike Johnson guy, I believe that he's not even willing to negotiate with the other side. I think he should, bring back in everybody and sit down and try to figure this thing out. I believe him more than anybody else in Congress, this Mike Johnson guy. Although both sides can't agree. It's crazy. And I know I'll probably get somebody in the comments that's going to blame Democrats, or you're going to have people blame Trump or the Republicans. It's all their fault. I'm a registered independent, but it's all their fault. I'm leaning more towards Democrats in a way of they care about a little bit more about healthcare, I believe. That's just my opinion. Don't beat me up. But they're all wrong. Both sides. They can't agree because they're still getting paid. Why are these people still getting paid? I don't understand. Somebody hit me in the comments and help me make this make sense. Why are people, when the military isn't even getting paid, and these people still getting paid? I don't understand. And I think the Republicans don't want to give in because they're afraid that Democrats want to give SNAP, or food stamps as they used to be called, to immigrants or non-citizens, which immigrants and non-citizens do get a portion of benefits in this country, but it's such a small amount. I know they're inflating it and making it sound like it's 50%. It's not. And I think Democrats don't want to give in because they don't want us to lose Obamacare. We'll change it. If you know that the Republicans don't like Obamacare, change it. Put some things in there that they might like, that the Republicans might like. They just can't come to an agreement, which drives me crazy. And like I said, I didn't want to get too political because this is more of a rideshare video. But it's just crazy that the government can't come together and figure these things out. But rideshare food delivery right now is probably one of the few things that is guaranteed to still go on during anything, depressions, recessions, during COVID, anything that might come up, we're always going to need rideshare drivers and food delivery. Now, food delivery to me is also a luxury, but some people might make the argument that some people are, what do you call it? They're incapacitated, where they medically can't leave their house for whatever reason. They really can't leave their house for whatever reason. Because they're disabled, or they don't own transportation, or I could kind of understand that argument a little bit. Just a little bit. Because some people, they don't have public transportation. And I kind of understand that argument a little bit more. Wow, the sun's bright. During the winter, because some people, they don't want to leave the house during the winter. So they're more likely to order food delivery even more. I think people order food delivery like 3 times more during the winter, as you could probably guess. I'm trying to get a good angle where I don't have as much sun in my face. But that's what I think. That's my theory on why rideshare food delivery is essential, and why people from teachers to dentists to military workers during this government shutdown, people that get laid off, they're all going to be flooding the gates to doing food delivery, rideshare. Now, where are the people getting money from during these troubling times to take food delivery and rideshare? That should tell you that no matter what, people are willing to spend money a little bit of money for these things that I consider luxuries, but they consider essential. People will find the money. They will find the money, just like people will find the money to do their hair. No matter how bad times are, people will find the money to buy online products. This is why I continue to promote stuff online, because TikTok people are still blowing up. People are selling everything from hair products to services on TikTok and making thousands. So there's money in the economy. It's just because of the government shutdown, there's a lot less. Now, are some people going to take rideshare a lot less? Yes. I've already experienced it. This time last year, I think it was a little bit busier. I could be wrong. Hit me in the comments if you disagree. But I think it was a little bit busier this time last year. in rideshare. I don't do food delivery, but I'm willing to bet because these people don't have food stamps and extra money from state that they're spending a little bit less on food delivery. But it's still gonna happen. It's still essential, you know. During COVID, I actually got the letter that I was considered essential and could be out beyond a certain times a day or whatever. So, again, I shouldn't be advertising this because I'm just promoting people that, you know, are watching this that don't do food delivery or rideshare. Now they're going to be like, hey, look, light bulb's going to go off, and they're probably going to come over and try to sign up, which makes more competition for drivers and kills our economy. That's why I constantly promote multiple streams of income. I don't want to lecture anybody on here, but I'm constantly telling you that if I just relied on rideshare, I wouldn't be able to pay my bills. You know, I could drive 10 to 12 hours a day and probably pay my bills, but my car would wear out so fast and I would be spending so much in repairs that I wouldn't be able to keep up. That's my theory on why I'm actually part-time now, because the car repairs were too often happening. And though I still got car repairs, I still got to do an oil change every month. Hit me in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. You got to do an oil change every month. So I can imagine if I was doing 8 to 10 hours a day. But I did, even part-time, I'm still doing an oil change every month. There's still some things I could do to my car that aren't necessary to the car's function, but I could actually do. Like, I could buy tires early for the winter, but I'm actually waiting, saving up money to buy tires last minute, like right before, I'm going to say probably December, before I buy tires again. I literally just bought tires like 3 months ago. I replaced all 4 tires literally like just 3 months ago. So I'm trying to wait it out, hopefully till December, buy 4 good tread tires. Not that I think it's going to be a bad winter, but I'm preparing for the worst. Because I'm preparing to do a little bit more driving. Like I said, a little bit more driving, nothing crazy. I wouldn't even still call it full-time, but some people will be like, yeah, you're full-time. If you drive 6 hours a day, 6 days a week, they might consider that full-time, maybe. But things are going good for my multiple streams of income right now. And I can give you an example of why multiple streams of income have helped me out majorly. My rent is literally paid. I'm not saying this to brag. I don't want people to think I'm trying to brag, but I knew going in that I could not afford my rent. The rents were going up constantly. My landlord just had raised my rent before she sold the property to my new landlord. But not a lot. It was like $180, which some of you are like, oh God, you're doing pretty good. But that $180 more a month hurt me because I had a 2-bedroom apartment and I was living alone. I went separate ways with the woman that I was living with when I moved up here, and had an extra bedroom. I noticed my living room was a lot, between the living room and the dining room, I had a lot of space, especially being the only guy, and it's a big apartment. The apartment's only big because it was just me. And I literally had an office to do my YouTube stuff, and I was feeling like this is wasted space. So I sectioned off the living room and made it my bedroom. And I took the biggest room, which I call the master, and I rented that out first. And I kept the little room for an office. And eventually I was thinking, this ain't enough. And I rented to several guys the big room. And then once I rented both rooms consistently, I realized this is covering my rent and one utility. This is going to work out if I continue doing this. And up to so far, I got one roommate and the little room that consistently pays me on time. Good guy. I get along with him. He don't bother me. You know, he smokes his weed, but he don't bother me. Stays out of the way. And I went through several people in the big room, ironically, which is, for some reason, it's really cold in the winter. So they have to use a space heater. But went through several guys. My track record is good because I only had to eliminate one guy for non-payment. So my track record is pretty good. I went through probably about 4 or 5 guys. And the only thing that bothers me is I got to clean up behind these guys sometimes. You know, even though they're grown men, I do got to clean up behind them occasionally. I provide toiletries, paper towels, toilet paper. And I'm getting enough with the 2 rooms to completely cover my rent and at least one utility. You know? So that kind of worked out up to so far. I'm saving to buy a house. But if I did not rent these 2 rooms, my rent's like $1,400 just doing Uber and Lyft, and my online hustle that only brings in a few dollars every now and again, so it's not consistent. If I got my online money to pay me $150 every single day, I wouldn't even have to drive. So that's another goal of mine, to ramp up my online sales. So I'm working on that as we speak. But like I said, people find money to spend money on these TikTok people so they can find money to spend money on products and services. So the money's out there. There's always money out there. It's just the average person has a lot less because of this government shutdown. You know, but being essential, I figure I'll continue driving. I did quit at one point during the pandemic because I didn't want to get sick, but I came right back to it. I bought this car that I'm currently in that isn't the greatest car, looks wise, it gets the job done. I would have preferred a Toyota, but I got a Ford. My next car might be a Toyota because I'm going to get something else, but I'm hoping that I'm out of the rideshare game by the time I'm ready to get the Toyota and 100% private. I'm working on a good private insurance or commercial insurance so I can do some private rides legally. So that's another goal of mine. I'm working on making my online company a software company because I know that I'm more likely to get more corporate and business credit that way. So I'm doing a lot this year going into next year. You got to have goals in life. You know, I'm going to be 55 in December. It's a milestone. I feel relatively good, healthy. No illnesses that I know of. I'm eating better. I quit smoking weed this year. Although I occasionally dabble, like I think I did socially smoke like once or twice this year. And I drink socially, you know. I don't go out of my way to buy beer, but if I'm at a party, I'll drink a beer or two, you know. So I'm not perfect. I still eat processed foods, but I completely eliminated fast food. I still will eat restaurant food, but I will not eat fast food. I will only eat like real delis and real pizzerias. I won't eat like the Domino's or the Caesars. So I'm selective on my eating. And I'm saying that to say that I'm trying to slowly get healthier in life. I got goals in mind. Rideshare is not the end all be all. So as long as you're working on a plan, I don't see nothing wrong with doing rideshare food delivery. I've never tried food delivery, honestly, out of fear, because I just see so many bad things about doing it. But I might actually try catering this year. I thought about it a while. I was like, yeah, maybe I should try it. The catering apps are paying a lot better than DoorDash and Uber. A lot better. If you could get a good catering app, you might make some good money. So that's something I'm working on this year. And I'm just driven. I'm driven to succeed. My goal is not necessarily to get rich, but I do want to get to the point where I would be considered an accredited investor, so I can invest in some real meaningful things. Like I said, I do want to buy my first property. That should catapult me into real estate, because once you purchase your own home, I think banks just throw money at you. You know, to boost your credit score, the banks throw more money at you, and it puts you a leg up to invest in more things. So that's why I'm doing all this. So I'm trying to inspire some of you Uber and Lyft drivers that might think there's no hope in life. You know, especially if you're getting older, you got to think about the future. Because, like I said in several videos, rideshare is pretty much over 2030, in my opinion. I think the autonomy is going to be fully integrated in society. Uber now is getting away from Waymo, and they're talking about coming up with their own cars. I don't know what happened with that, but Tesla, of course, the first trillionaire they say he's going to be, Elon Musk, is working on his robo-taxis. So we're going to have a lot of those on the road in the future. And I did have a plan to get a Tesla and use that as a means to make more money, but I'm just not a fan anymore, guys, with Tesla. Now, I am a fan of the BYD, which is the Chinese version. They are 3 times more classy. The range is longer. Say what you want about the Chinese, but they make a better vehicle when it comes to EVs. Only problem is the tariffs are gonna, because of Trump's tariffs, we can't really buy those and get a discount. So the only way you're gonna get a discount is to stay American. So because of that, instead of a Toyota, I might even get like a Chevy or a Ford, just to save some money, you know, as far as a bigger vehicle goes, just because of the tariff situation. You can't beat them, you got to join them. You got to find some ways to, you know, no matter what, you know, side you're on, you got to find some way to deal with society and build your own economy, regardless of who's running the country or administration. But like I said, rideshare and food delivery are considered essential. If you're thinking about doing it, if you got an extra car. In the past, I've been hating on it. I've been telling people, don't drive. I stopped giving out my links. I stopped referring people. But because we're on a government shutdown, I might even start giving out my link again, to be honest with you. I know that's against what I thought in the past, but so if you do want my link, email me or hit me in the comments, and I'll send you a referral link if you really want it. Although I'm not enthusiastic about it, I'll send you one. I prefer Lyft over Uber right now. They've been paying me a little bit better, slightly better than Uber. For per mile distance, they've been paying me slightly better. And I'm not out here to make a lot of money in rideshare. Like I said, I come out here, I try to make anywhere from $100 to $150 tops, and then I go home. I'm not trying to be out here all day long, you know, with these apps. But if I did get a good catering app, I could technically be out here the same amount of time and make more money, in my mind. But thank you guys for listening to my thoughts and supporting my channel for so long. Somebody did hit me in the comments on my Nice Guy Driver channel, and they said we need more videos. I'm sorry. I do apologize. I haven't been making as many videos, long form videos anyway, as I have in the past. During this winter, I'm sure I'll ramp that up a little bit, and I'm working on doing some stuff with AI, so I am going to have some AI content in the future as well. But that's all I got for you guys. Again, thank you for your continued support. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, comment, and I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Nice Guy Driver, signing off.